This is ThinkTech Hawaii. Community matters here.
Aloha and welcome to Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. We are a show that broadcasts every Thursday from 2 to 2:30 at the downtown studios of ThinkTech Hawaii in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. We are a show that focuses predominantly on success stories in Hawaii and their owners. There are a lot of challenges doing business in Hawaii. High cost of living, a remote location, very heavily unionized state, and a lot of rules and regulations that aren't always friendly. But we do have success stories, and there are many businesses here that are successful and make it work in Hawaii. So today we have one of those individuals, Darren Fox, who is the CEO, owns and manages a company called Ocean Legends, an international diving academy, and is expanding quickly. Has made some very successful accomplishments in the last year or two, and has got a lot to talk about. So Darren, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks, Rich. Great to be here.
All right, so now tell me, first thing, how long you been in Hawaii?
Since 2006.
2000, so about 10, 11 years.
Yeah, a long time.
So you've been here for a while. Did you come and start the business right at the get-go, or did you do something first?
Actually, I was on vacation. I took a break from National Geographic, and I came here and got into surfing and loved Hawaii and decided to stay.
Now, just out of curiosity, what did you do for National Geographic?
I was a safety diver. I was a rebreather, safety diver, to make sure that we could get our camera crew to the depths that we wanted and made sure production was happy with our shooting.
All right, so I would imagine you've done that all over the world?
All over the world.
That must be a great life.
Yeah, Blue Planet was interesting.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. And where did you originally come from? Were you, I think you mentioned New Zealand?
Yeah, New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand. I was born in Southeast Asia, and then New Zealand is home.
All right, very good. And that's where you got into the dive business?
Right, yeah, I was 7 years old, and my dad was my instructor, and I had a 5-minute briefing on how to go scuba diving.
Wow, they start you early in New Zealand.
They start you early in New Zealand, yeah.
That's good. And so you grew up over there, and,
right.
and then I guess joined National Geographic.
Right, I was very lucky, yeah.
And then traveled around the world.
All over the world, yeah.
And of all the places you visited, you chose Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah. Who could? I mean, who wouldn't, right? I mean, it's beautiful here.
Well, very good. Well, we're very fortunate to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, you came in 2006, and then how long did it take for you to get off of vacation mode and start getting into, starting a business? 2008
was when we first started the company, and then we've been here ever since, and we've expanded, and it's been challenging, but it's been worth it.
And what are some of those challenges that you encountered?
I think it's just the industry overall. It's very competitive, and one of the biggest things was to be able to find resources, tap into resources that could help your business. Particularly, it's such a heavy tourism-based industry. The competitive part, I think, was the biggest challenge that we've had.
So the resources that you're talking about human resources or people to help you start the business and get it going, or what type of resources?
Just more people to help you start going, give you the right advice. Location is a big thing, and your target market is a big thing. So there's a lot of pieces that you need to know when you're doing something with regards to tourism. So
when you began and started and put the plan together, is what you have today what you originally started out to do? Or?
Not really. No. It's been an amazing journey. People thought I was crazy to bring sophisticated rebreather training to Hawaii, and they said, Darren, you'd be broke in a year, and here we are going pretty strong. So
you proved them all wrong.
I did, yeah.
And we're probably going to get into that rebreather a little bit, maybe in the second half. But when you first started the business, it was predominantly focused on tourism and the visitor industry.
Absolutely,
And doing what for them?
We were taking people out on dives, teaching them how to scuba dive, scuba excursions. excursions for certified divers, competing with every other dive center in Hawaii.
Doing the intro dives.
Doing the intro dives, shallow intro dives, turtle watching, all those things.
Now, I don't know if I ever mentioned it to you, but I'm a dive master, and I spend a lot of time in the water.
Yeah.
And I used to go on the intro dives with some friends that I had out in Cocoa Marina, and take one tourist on each arm and take them around. And sometimes they'd get so scared they just kind of
freeze up on you.
and they just hang there, and you'd be pulling two people along with you.
Happens every day.
So, and that's how you started the business.
That's how I started. Yeah, and I had a storage unit because I couldn't afford to have a shop, and I started in a storage unit and a pickup truck. That was when I started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you really started on a shoestring.
Pretty much, a very short one. Yeah.
And so now there's a lot of people that are watching this show, and they're thinking, well, how do you start a business, and how do you get your customers, and how did that work for you?
Well, you just have to figure out what you want. You just have to figure out, be single focused, and pick a niche market, and do everything that you can do, and put the elements together to then achieve that. So we went to all the big hotels. We did a lot of stuff on social media. We met great people like you that kind of helped us, and for us, that was the main thing, is to get our name out and to do a good job. And we figured the rest of it would just fall into place.
And then the word of mouth starts kicking in, or the coconut wireless, as
coconut
they say.
wireless,
and so you get a lot of tourists coming in, and I guess do you, and I'm just curious, there's an inherent curiosity, but how do you get the customers from the hotels to your shop? Do you have a van or something? You pick them up and bring them over? Or?
Yeah, we started with my pickup truck, and then
so you throw them in the back.
Right, yeah, exactly. Not really, but and then we graduated to two 16-passenger vans, and one of them I still have today, and I still own the pickup truck. It sits in my garage as a memento, and that's how we started. We shuttle service, full-service shop.
Really? So you pick them up, you go on the dive, you bring them back. You're still doing that type of business today?
Yeah, every day.
All right. Well, it's a nice revenue stream to come in.
It is.
And some of the tourists that come in have never really been in the water before.
No.
And especially under the water.
Right. Yeah, you have to get them really comfortable, and there's a bunch of ways that you can do that, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the instructor, and we emphasize a lot with our professionals to make sure that they have the right training and they make people feel at ease, because if you get that done, the rest of it in the water, they're just going to have a blast.
Well, exactly, and getting them comfortable at the 2-foot level helps a lot when you get down to around the 20-foot level.
Right, and when they see the turtles, it's all, they just forget about
then you have to hold them back.
Right,
Any pool work? Do you get into the pools at all at the resorts or anything? Do any of the introductory dives, your orientation there?
Yeah, when we first started, we did some stuff with the Kahala, and then now we have a pool that we use all the time, and we do that, and then we get them comfortable in the pool, and then we take them to the ocean.
So now, is this your pool?
No, it's not our pool, I wish, but someday soon.
Well, you've been growing, and we had a chance to chat a little bit before the show, but I was going to be excited about having your own pool because you got your own boat, right?
Right, yeah, I have the own, that's right.
So do you take tourists out on little tours as well? So you take them to little dive spots in a boat tour?
Yes, we have a personal boat. It's a 6-person boat, and it keeps everybody together, and that way we have safety, which is our biggest concern, and then they have a good time because it's a personal experience.
It is. Well, a boat dive to me is a whole lot more fun than a shore dive.
Absolutely.
And why don't you explain for the audience what the difference is?
Well, if you go off a boat, you just hop on the reef and you're right there, and it's a lot easier. And if you go off the shore, then you need to have certain water skills to be able to navigate through a reef break or a rip current and all those kinds of things.
Or a wave.
Or a wave, yeah. So boat diving is predominantly, I believe, the best for Hawaii.
It is. It's a lot easier. You don't get the sand everywhere. And you don't have to cart the equipment as far.
That's easier.
There's a lot of negatives about a beach dive or shore dive, and I would much rather do a boat dive.
Absolutely.
And so you've got the tourist component of your business, and you do certifications with them, or
yes, we're a full service certification store, and we take anybody who wants to learn open water, be a basic certified diver, to being a recreational instructor, and to be an international instructor. We do it all at our office.
Very good. And do you have bilingual people working for you?
Yes, we have a Japanese-speaking instructor, and we also have someone who can speak French as well, and Spanish. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, French, do we have a lot of tourists that come from a French-speaking location, like Tahiti maybe?
Sometimes, yeah.
Do they speak French in New Zealand?
No.
No.
No, no.
So this is somebody other than
we
yourself.
speak Maori in New Zealand.
Yes. I know. I used to joke with some people, you know, when I go to England, they say we talk American.
Right.
You know, and I suggest that they learn how to speak English someday.
Right.
Anyway, another story. So you've got, you know, the tourist business, you got certifications, but you don't have to be a tourist to go to the school. I mean,
no.
There's a lot of local customers that you have to come in and get certified.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of dive clubs here in Hawaii too, local dive clubs that we support, and we give them good deals on tanks and fills and service their equipment and just try to grow the community. And that's been our focus, is the community.
Very good. So how long would it take if somebody wanted to get certified and come in and go through your program for the basic certification to go do some open water dive? Normally, how long would that take?
It just takes about 3 days to get certified from a non-certified diver not knowing how to scuba dive. As long as they're comfortable in the ocean, in the water, in 3 days you could be a certified diver.
And that after that 3 days, I mean, a whole new world kind of opens up to you.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole different world, yeah.
It is, and there's so many different places and things to do when you have that open water certification.
Absolutely, yeah.
Matter of fact, you can even go in and have your tanks filled, and you can do this on your own or with a buddy, which is always preferred.
Yeah.
So that's, and if you got a boat, you can even clean the bottom of your boat.
There you go.
Yeah. So, you know, and how young is the youngest that you've ever had go through one of these programs?
10-year-old, you can be a junior open water, and actually you can start people off at 8, which is a bubble maker course where you can just be in a pool and they get to get the bug of scuba diving, and so when they're 10, you do the open water certification.
It's natural. You know, I used to get my boys in the pool in the back. Used to worry my wife to no end, but we used to go down and sit at the bottom of the pool and just sit there and make faces at each other, but they got very comfortable breathing through a regulator.
Yeah, I have a regulator system ready for my daughter. She's 14 months now, but she'll be 5 soon.
And have you talked to your wife about this?
I'm sure she'll be fine with it. Yeah.
Very good. Now, your business includes other components, so, you know, and we'll probably get more into that, you know, right after the break, but it's really taken off. You're starting to build the business here, and you're looking at other locations too, right?
Yeah, California and Florida. Yeah, changing lives every day.
So when that's a good analogy. You know, changing lives. You're really opening up. You also do some things with Wounded Warriors.
Yes, we do. Actually, we have a very strong Wounded Warrior project that we do, and we support a lot of our veterans here, and you know, our VA program is part of that.
Well, what is that VA program?
It's where we promote vocational training for people who, in their careers, want to get out of the military and they want to become technical instructors or recreational instructors, internationally recognized instructors. We create that pathway for them at our academy.
Well, see, there you go again, changing lives.
Changing lives, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. And so somebody right out of the military could actually go to your academy, pick what avenue they want to take or what they want to learn, and the VA would pay for this?
Yeah, it's covered by the VA 100%, and also they can do it while they're active duty as well, because we have part-time classes.
Very good. And then once you're through with the certifications, I guess they could probably transition into some sort of paid opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. With us, and then we'll also try to get them a job, whether it's here in Hawaii or internationally or on the mainland, wherever they want to do.
Wow, that's very interesting for some of the people. Now, do you have a lot of people taking advantage of this right now?
Absolutely, absolutely, and a lot of it's word of mouth, and they, you know, ask around, and we're the best program out there because we're focused on the quality of training as opposed to the quantity. And and that is the winning formula for us, and that has never changed since I learned to scuba dive to now. So I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Very good. You know, I'm a former Navy guy, and so, you know, and I'm used to getting wet and getting in the water, and I know a lot of my Marine buddies, but Army guys, they can swim too?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They have gills.
Very good. Well, we're going to take a short break here, and we're going to be back in about 60 seconds, and then we'll get a little bit more into the commercial side of what you're doing.
Sure.
But this is Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. I'm here today talking with the International Diving Academy owner about all the different opportunities that are available in the dive business here in Hawaii. We'll be right back.
This is ThinkTech Hawaii, raising public awareness.
Thank you.
Kindness. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Aloha. My name is Mark Shklav. I am the host of ThinkTech Hawaii's Law Across the Sea. Law Across the Sea comes on every other Monday at 11 a.m. Please join us. I like to bring in guests that talk about all types of things that come across the sea to Hawaii. Not just law, love, people, ideas, history. Please join us for Law Across the Sea. Aloha.
Welcome back. This is Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. We're here this week talking with Darren Fox about his business in International Diving Academy and Ocean Legends. We were just going to transition. We have finished talking a little bit about the recreational side and the visitor industry side and all the different opportunities that might be available for people coming out of the military or even for civilians that want to get into the dive business. You know, Darren, you've got a commercial side of what you're doing.
Yes.
That's really pretty leading edge and one of the first in the country.
Yeah, it's
Can you
super
share
exciting.
that story with us?
Yeah, sure. We're the first in the country to be awarded a training facility for all rebreathers and advanced breathing systems, which was a shock to me, actually. And the VA told me, you're the first in the country, so take a pat on the back. And I was like, wow, that's great that we could bring Hawaii to the global marketplace.
Right. And well, not only to the global marketplace, but be number one.
Number one, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. Yeah. Now, explain to us what a rebreather is.
Sure. A rebreather is a machine that's designed to keep you alive artificially in a hazardous environment. So we can take people down to 500-600 feet on this breathing system that computer controls your breathing rate. So your decompression and the mixes are all computer analyzed, and it gives the diver kind of like an astronaut in space. Same
Right.
thing, but just in the water.
Well, and when you say mixes, you're talking about gas versus oxygen.
Correct. Yeah, helium-oxygen mixtures.
Yeah, and that's a tricky business. You know,
Yes.
that you have to be pretty precise with that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, sometimes when you're going down 500 or 600 feet, that's pretty deep.
It's pretty deep. Yeah.
And you know, under normal circumstances, number one, you would probably never go down that deep.
Right.
But if you went down just a couple hundred feet, there's
Yeah.
still a decompression process that could take some time to get you back up.
Correct. Yeah.
But this rebreather, you can avoid some of that.
Yes, what it does is it'll measure the best mix for the diver, and it'll add more oxygen as the diver is coming up to where the decompression gradient is reduced dramatically.
Yeah, that's an amazing, to me it's an amazing technology because in my day they didn't quite have all of that.
Yeah, Hawaiian pack, right?
Yeah. So it was a little bit different in those days, but it sounds a whole lot more interesting today.
It's very exciting, yeah.
So now you're able to certify people in this?
Yeah, from all around the world. Yeah.
All right. And then what does that qualify them to do when they're done with this program?
They're able to work commercially, have commercial insurance, to be able to work in motion picture, to be able to work as a commercial diver, and to do dives that are rated for the rebreather and the training. So the first level is 170 feet, the second level is to 220 feet, and the third level is to 330 feet. So there's a lot of opportunities for people to get certified to be able to use these products in bettering their careers or moving up the scale.
Right, and what I found very interesting about this is that it's not just salvage work that we're talking about here. We're talking about movie production as
motion
well.
picture, yeah.
So any of these motion pictures that take place, particularly in Hawaii or anywhere in the Pacific for that matter, you'll be asked to come in and participate to do what? Work with the photographers in an underwater environment and make sure that everything is safe, or what is it? What can somebody do in a motion picture environment, which sounds a whole lot more exciting than salvage work?
Yeah, absolutely. So you could be a safety diver, you could be an extra camera person, right? You could have the lighting, and also predominantly, you have an ability to work with producers and with directors and all these people who get into the marine environment, and it's rewarding.
Well, I was just going to ask, what's the compensation? If somebody were to get into that type of business, what type of compensation are they looking at? Do they get paid by the hour or by the job?
It ranges anywhere from $200 an hour to $300 an hour to a daily rate. So your return on investment is huge, and because this machinery is the cutting edge technology, right? People come to us from different parts of the mainland to train with us. Of course, Hawaii's paradise, so they get to do that. And then when they graduate, they can go anywhere in the world and work in any kind of industry that is involved with rebreathers.
Right. Now, do you have people waiting to get into this course?
We do, because we have such a small ratio. We have 4 people to 1 instructor, and we're really big on that. So yes, there's a lot of people, and we have to go through the process of selecting people, but we say yes to everybody, and then we make it happen.
Right. So they sometimes have to get into a waiting line and wait their turn. And then how long is the course itself?
The whole program for the first course is about 19 and a half weeks, because we take someone from open water all the way up to rebreather supervisor, which is the first professional rating, and if they do good there, then we can take them all the way up to becoming an instructor.
Okay. So open water is like the first prerequisite.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Okay, so they go through this program, takes about 19 to 20 weeks. They finish, and then what happens after they graduate and they get certified?
Then what we try to do is we try to get them working with our instructors to learn how to teach, because you can have your subject matter, but if you don't know how to present that information, then that's another course. So what we try to do is integrate them into being able to understand that each client has different needs, and we have to make sure that the instructor can deliver a quality product.
Well, and there's nothing that prepares you and makes sure that you really know your stuff than by teaching it.
Yes, absolutely.
So
and that's
really,
a whole different,
it really reinforces that learning process. And then they do that for a while, they get some experience, they get some underwater time built up. And then how does the movie production companies find people to help them with this?
Well, they contact us for the most part, because we've had so much history with us, and they contact us, and then we'll find and staff the need for the production company.
Wow, that's exciting. So really good stuff. Maybe you keep it, and then
we actually did a job for Red Bull recently, which was great.
Red Bull.
Yeah, Herbert Niche, the world record holding freediver, was here a few months ago, and we did some stuff for him for a Red Bull commercial. So that was a fun job.
Well, that's kind of neat. And does that take a lot of underwater time and something like that? I mean, it could be a pretty quick gig, though. I mean, pretty quick turnaround.
It was a lot of time on the water and a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Now, for people who, I guess, really want to get into this, is there a personality type of trait that you're looking for? I mean, pretty much anybody.
Anybody can do it.
Male, female, introvert, extrovert. I mean, anybody can really get into this.
Anybody, and you don't have to learn how to swim either. As long as you're comfortable in the water, we'll take care of that. You just have to come over and see us.
Well, we used to joke about the fact that you want to go diving. Well, I don't know how to swim. Well, that's not the point of diving.
Right.
The point of diving is you're supposed to sink.
Right. Exactly.
Under the water.
Yeah. Anybody can do this. It's open for anybody.
Yeah, well, that's very good. And it could actually become quite a hobby for families, too.
Yeah.
So you can get a whole family involved, husband, wife, kids.
Yeah.
It's a great recreation, for the whole family to get involved.
Right, and that's why when we support our local clubs, a lot of families are in that community, so it helps us service that need.
That's right. Now, we touched on it, but we didn't go into much detail. You're going to be expanding operations to Southern California and over to Florida at some point.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Share that with us.
Sure. Well, we're planning to have 2 locations in Florida, one in Belmont, Long Beach, and one in Coronado, San Diego, for our military community. And that came about because every time I'm on a boat in California, people say, why don't you put one here in California? I live down the road, right? And then the same thing happens when we go to Florida for cave diving, because we teach that as well. So that's why we decided that next year we're going to put 2 facilities in California and one in Florida. So
Very
it's
good.
exciting.
So you'll be training people there just like you train here.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's big military bases in
Everywhere.
both places.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is going to be perfect for that VA benefit and having them pay for this education.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be excellent. Now, I've not done a cave dive, but I've seen it, and I know they got courses on it.
Yeah.
I get a little creeped out, because you go into something and it's you need to make sure that you know how to get out again.
Right.
And I always found that to be the most important part of a cave dive is to leave a little line behind you so you always know how to turn around and come back out again.
We run lines in caves for sure.
Yeah. It's going to be a little tricky. Have you ever gone out to Sharks Cove and done any diving out there?
Absolutely. Actually, it was one of my first dives I did when I got to Hawaii. Was the guys were like, hey, there's a couple of caves on the North Shore, and so we went out and checked them out with lines.
Yes, it's a little notorious. There's been people I think that are still stuck in there somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, but no, those lines are very important. For somebody, a family that husband, wife, a couple kids, if they want to get into diving, could they come to you as a family unit? And
Absolutely.
You can put them through the training together?
We do a personal class for them with an instructor, so they get to do it all together, and there's no extra charge for that. We'll do that as part of the program.
Very good. And so that could really be a bonding opportunity for that family.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to lock you into anything, but generally speaking, what's the cost of something like that for, say, a mom and a dad and a couple kids to go through a training program?
Well, each course is about $495 for a basic certification. So what we would do is we would give them a group rate. So like $400 or something like that, and every penny counts for a family. So we would just cater that to what they needed.
And then to get into that, and a lot of people, I don't know if they understand or appreciate it, but you provide a lot of the equipment too. They don't have to come with all of the stuff. I mean, you provide it too.
We provide all that as part of the program.
Right, and then if they decide to really get into it, then they can probably buy some of the stuff through you.
Yes.
And then be able to do it on their own. So it's pretty simple, to get into it.
Yeah.
And then you got the boat, and they can do boat dives and forget about those beach dives.
Right.
All right.
And the cleanup after.
Yes. We've got probably about 30 seconds left, and we're going to have to sign off. But any quick closing remarks or anything you want to just leave with the audience?
Sure. I want to share that dreams are possible, and you just have to know what you want and go after it.
Very good. And let me assure everybody in the audience that once you get underwater and you start looking at the whole new life that's under there, you'd be amazed at what you have not seen for a long time or forever. It's a great environment. It's a lot of fun. But this is Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. We broadcast live every Thursday from 2 to 2:30, and we focus on successful stories like Darren Fox here of who made it and are successful in Hawaii. Hope to see you next week. Until then, aloha.